So, I hear you want the easy way out when it comes to losing weight and eating healthy foods. Are you one of those people who hate counting calories and measuring your food intake at all times, but you still desire that dream body of yours and are willing to put in a little extra work? Don't worry, it's nothing crazy. I won't be knocking on your doorstep at 4 in the morning asking you to go for a 20-mile run or anything like that. I mean, unless you really want me to. So if you answered yes to everything above, then you're definitely in the right place. I'll be going over 5 of the best tips that you can start doing today to improve your life and lose that stubborn belly fat you've always wanted. Now, you'll have to do a little bit of work here, but I promise it'll be easier than you think and worth your time. Shall we get into this before I bore you and you decide to head out and grab that cheeseburger? Let's get into it. Number 1, eat more protein. If you have protein with your meal, it tends to increase the feeling of fullness, which will then result in you eating less. Having a big dose of protein at breakfast is a hack for weight loss, such as eggs or a protein smoothie, for example. I like to aim for 30 grams of protein per meal. Protein can reduce appetite, increase fat burning, and help you gain muscle. Studies show that protein boosts metabolism more than any other macronutrient. This is because the body spends more calories digesting and making use of protein than it does fat and carbs. Many studies show that increasing your protein intake can lead to automatic weight loss, even when eating until full. How cool is that? Lean protein can also help you gain more muscle, especially if you also lift weights. Muscle tissue is metabolically active, meaning that it burns a small number of calories even at rest. Best protein sources to reduce calorie intake are animal sources, such as chicken breast, fish, and eggs, preferably at every meal. I hope you're not falling asleep yet, because we're hopping into number 2, which is cutting carbs can make you lose weight fast. People who eat fewer carbohydrates naturally start to eat fewer calories and lose weight without any major effort. The best way to cut carbs is to reduce or eliminate major carb sources from your diet, including sugars, sweets, and sodas, as well as starchy foods like bread, pasta, potatoes. You get the idea. Getting into the range of 100 to 150 grams of carbs can be very beneficial. If you want to lose weight fast, going under 50 grams per day can be extremely effective, but I wouldn't recommend that low unless you were doing a bodybuilding show. It's pretty extreme and you'll be walking around like a zombie hating everyone in sight. It also lowers your insulin levels. This makes the kidneys start shedding excess sodium and water from the body, significantly reducing bloat and water weight. I learned this extremely beneficial tip from a Jeff Cavaliere video. Get yourself a plate and write 9 o'clock and 9:20. The smaller portion being your starchy carbs, the bigger portion being the protein, last portion being your fibrous carbs. Really good, easy, visual method you can do every time you're about to eat a meal and lower your chances of binge eating. It's the excess amount of carbs that most people have a problem with, but when you measure your food out in an easy way like this, it becomes much easier to follow. Number 3 is mindless snacking. Many of those who struggle with weight gain or obesity eat out of boredom or habit rather than necessity. This often happens when people are doing something else at the same time, like watching TV or browsing the internet. So sign out of Netflix and give your account and password to me. Just kidding. In these situations, practicing mindful eating could be useful. Mindful eating is a strategy that helps people distinguish between emotional eating and real hunger. It involves paying attention to what you are eating without any distractions. As you eat, pay attention and try to note as you are starting to feel full. Be conscious about not eating snacks directly from the big bag or jar. Instead, portion them out in a bowl, dish, or a snack baggie. And no, I'm not talking about a giant plastic bag like this. Don't even think about it. You'll have a more visual representation about how much you are eating overall, which will ultimately lead you to eat less than if you were taking handfuls from a bag. How we doing over here? Let's keep going. Number 4 is quality sleep. Unfortunately, many people aren't getting enough sleep, but you already knew that. Short sleep, usually defined as fewer than 6 to 7 hours, has been repeatedly linked to a higher body mass index and weight gain. Inadequate sleep is one of the strongest risk factors for obesity, so write that down. Lack of sleep alters the way your brain works and can affect decision making. This may make it harder to make healthy food choices and resist tempting foods. Poor sleep will actually increase the cravings the next day, making you more inclined to want foods that are higher in sugar and carbohydrates. Therefore, after a night of poor sleep, not only is that bowl of ice cream more rewarding, but you'll likely have a harder time practicing self-control. Many studies have found that people who are sleep deprived report having an increased appetite and a higher daily calorie intake overall. So getting enough sleep may help prevent increases in calorie intake and appetite that can happen when you are sleep deprived, which is why it's beneficial to go to bed earlier. This may help you avoid the late night snacking that often comes with staying up past your bedtime. Pushing your bedtime later means you are staying up longer, which creates a larger window of time for eating, especially if it has been many hours since dinner. So before you ask your girlfriend to take a last minute late night run to Dairy Queen for a cookies and cream blizzard, practice self-control and give it to me. Number 5 is exercise. It doesn't matter that much what you are doing, your heart actually doesn't care, as long as you're getting your heart rate up. So find a form of physical activity that you enjoy and do that. And no, that doesn't mean you grab a box of pizza and hit the stationary bike. No, that's not how it works. So whether that's cycling, going to the gym, walking, or Zumba, it doesn't really matter, as long as it's something that you enjoy and that you're gonna keep doing. If you are new to exercising, you could start off easy by walking and counting your steps. You don't always have to do a highly intense workout in order to burn a lot of calories. You can just do longer sessions. Walking is an excellent way of burning off calories regularly. It's practical and accessible for virtually everybody. Start with walking by counting 5,000 to 10,000 steps in a day. You can track these by investing in a fitness tracker or smartwatch. One good app is called Steps, where you can monitor your progress and even connect with your friends to share your results. If you've been following me so far, you can say goodbye to counting calories and going through that boring process, because these tips will help you lose weight without the calorie counting and measuring of your food intake at all times, which is pretty extreme and isn't always needed. And who the hell has time for that? If you're one of those people with a great discipline level and have managed to master these tips I've listed above, please comment below on how they have improved your life. I would love to hear about it. Even if you fell short and still indulge in eating junk food all the time, I want to know about that too and how we can get you back on track.